being in a high prestigious zip code can change your life. So a lot of people that are in small towns, they're trying to figure out how to evolve or get to the next level. Sometimes you just got to get around the right people, you know?
Even when you make it, you can fall in that rabbit hole of just allowing women to chase you and entertain every single woman. So you go from chasing women to women chasing you, and now you're trying to make it for all the times women reject you.
While we're doing our thing. I think
like
we were doing the rivalry thing. Same thing we normally do. And I'm talking, and this dude in the audience going bars. He got on glasses and chains. What is going on? What is going on? Welcome to another episode of Shark Talk with Shaqq The Shark. This is a podcast where we talk to sharks, as sharks, and bring you in on the conversation. So today's a real special episode because I got my boy, Mr. CEO Brandon, as a co-host.
Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for being here. And I got a super special guest, the man I've been knowing for a long time that just came out of nowhere, killing the game for the past 100 summers, right? Mr. Coolest nerd ever, brother. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. I appreciate you for having me, my boy.
Hey, man. It's only right, man. I appreciate you for making it happen, man. So we the three of us got a lot of history, bro.
We do.
I thought it's only right to Brandon just did his episodes. Let me throw that out there.
Just so you watch the last episode.
He over there worried about his outfit, right? So we just shot Brandon's episode, and it was so dope because when you came, I was just like, man, it'll be fire to have all three of us here.
Have all three of us in. That's how it started, man.
Yep.
Well, y'all started by yourself, and then I came along bothering y'all.
We gotta talk about that.
So what you mean, bro? What you mean you was bothering us, bro?
Well, man, I was online watching YouTube, and I remember seeing these two kids online popping it, talking about entrepreneurship and your job ain't shit, this, that, da-da-da. I'm like, man, I'm working, and I'm like, man, if they don't got no job, why I got a job? Nah, so that was like when I first seen y'all, then I was like, man, whenever I see them, I got something to say, you know. So I was on some shark type vibe.
Nah, that's big shark vibes.
Big shark vibes.
Like I wanna throw in my little piece, specifically the type vibes you was on. So the first time I met Nerd, right? The first time I met Coolest Nerd was we were at your mentors at the time's place, if I'm not mistaken. So this guy was like a thorn in my side. I mean, like. He was poaching our business. He was like antagonizing us as individuals, right? So I decided, like where I'm from, if somebody really trying, mess up your business, like you meet them in person. Yeah. Like it ain't I dislike this person and you stay at home. Like I wanted to see what this dude was about for myself. I didn't even bring Brandon for this because that wasn't even the type of time I was on. So I went to go meet this guy, and he was nice to me personally. He was like, look, man, all the stuff that I be doing is not personal, brother. It's just, it's business. So, I'm listening to him. I'm like, yeah, all right. And then you were there, but I didn't even know you was there the whole time.
I'm listening upstairs like, all right, he say the wrong thing, I'm on him. Nah, I wasn't on that. But like I said, I was familiar with you already, so I had already gave him the rundown of who you were before you pulled up. I'm like, yeah, this is videos right here. Yeah, this is him. This is he talking. This is how he talk. This is what he do. Man, you make way more money than him. That's what I'm saying. You should be able to recruit him. You've been in this longer. You a boss. I'm trying to hyping him up, telling him how he should get you in his downline, right? So that's how it started. And I was like, yeah, you came over. I'm like, yeah, show him.
Yeah, dang, I didn't know all that.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't know nothing of this happened.
Yeah, I showed him you, and I was basically like giving a rundown, like, yo, we need him in our downline. He doing his thing, but he ain't met nobody like you. That was like my idea, because that was my first time meeting somebody of that caliber that looked like me, living a certain lifestyle, entrepreneur, having his way, So yeah, I was inspired by that, So I figured you were younger, and we were, naturally probably more inclined to listen to somebody that had a little bit more season and a little bit more experience. So I felt like he can get you in our networking opportunities. So I was like egging it on.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
I didn't know. I thought the first time was the mall.
No. As a matter of fact.
So it happened second then.
No, wait. I don't think I was at the mall.
You were at it was two different encounters. Two different encounters.
You were at the mall?
I was there?
Was he at the mall? I don't think he was at the mall.
I wasn't there.
I think he was with a girl.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
sworn
You
was
told
there.
me the story, but I
maybe
wasn't there
told
for
you
it.
the story then.
you was with a girl.
What happened at the mall?
Okay, so whoever I was with, I don't remember. I was walking I think I was leaving the mall, and then I see this. No, Kobe about 6. He's tall, bro. Like you like 6'3", 6'4",
6'3", yeah.
6'3". And then some other guy, he was like, his cousin, I believe. That's his cousin was you, right? With
Yeah,
the muscles.
yeah.
So it was a guy with muscles and a super tall guy.
I think I was the guy with the muscles though.
Oh, no, that's definitely his cousin. I remember. So I was a tall guy and a muscle guy. And then I see this, like, you ever seen the cartoons where it's like the mouse and then they got the 2 big goons? That's how I've seen it. That's like, so the 2 big goons and just talking goofy.
So I'm saying his name. We talk about Khatib.
Yeah.
Katir.
Money, man. But look at my watch. Just look at this watch. And then you go like, yeah, look at his watch or something like that. It was so hilarious. I'm like, who is this guy talking to me? And he was just talking crazy. And it's just funny how far we've come. But I don't know how he know me. Like, what happened?
Again, I study. I always analyze the competition.
Got you.
Right? So my philosophy is I don't start from scratch. I start where my competitors left off at. So I always like to study what people are doing in my industry. So I was studying what y'all were doing because I knew I wanted to master this industry. So I was seeing how y'all were talking, seeing what y'all were saying, how y'all were creating an impact. And I said, I'm going to do it bigger and better. And I said, these are the guys that I watched that inspired me, kind of do some of this stuff, but I'm going to be way bigger than them. I'm going to make way more bread than them. And then we end up doing business together. So I end up showing them your page, showing them your content. Before content was even a thing, y'all were on social doing things online. So that was like, it was interesting seeing y'all talking like that. And I was like, not afraid that you would wake up and be fired. I was like, oh, these dudes are not afraid of being canceled. And people who are working a job don't have that type of testicular fortitude on a natural basis. So that was one of the things that attracted me, just seeing like, yo, I want to move like that. So yeah, I showed them y'all stuff, bro.
No, that's
Times, I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, no, bro. Now it's hilarious. Then it was like, yo, I gotta come. I'm about to pull up to this dude's house, and he better be talking right. That's what I was thinking. But that's a different mentality. Yeah. So after I had the meeting with Khatib, Jacoby came downstairs. I'm thinking like, this nigga was up there this whole time. I did not know.
Shooter.
This nigga was up there. So he came downstairs. He was like, yeah, man, this my mentee, Jacoby. And then he was like, yo, man, what's up, man? Nice to meet you. Super.
Guy roll.
Yeah, let me get your number. And I'm just like, all right, bro, I'm going to give you my number. So then Kobe texts me. I'll never forget. I think I brought this up. I brought this up a few times. You text me, like, not immediately. You text me maybe like a couple of days or a week later, and it was like, yo, man, you ready to jump in the pool with the big fish? That's the exact words he used. No play on the brand now, because this wasn't my brand then. Shark Talk. That was definitely Shark Talk. And I was tight, because I mean, at the time, I was making more money than Jacoby.
Yeah.
Right? So I was just like, big fish? Bruh. You talking to a shark? No, I ain't say that.
Yeah.
But seriously, I was like, oh, no. So at that point, I did not like Jacoby at all. I was thinking he a op. I'm cool. I'm good. Keep him away from me. He talking to me crazy. But what ended up happening was, a good thing ended up happening. Brandon, me and Brandon's personality are very different. Like, if you know me now, once you make me feel away, you're done. You don't got out. We're never gonna have to revisit it. We're never gonna talk about it again. It's over with. But Brandon isn't like that. Brandon is very understanding. Brandon is very friendly, and Brandon don't really take things personal. Like, it's actually one of his superpowers. For a while, I used to think like, yeah, bro, that's an issue that you.
Yeah, I remember he actually brought to my teacher like, bro, like, you forgiving? I was like, what?
Yeah, like, you too nice, bro. Like, stop being friendly. So y'all ended up developing a great relationship, and me and your dynamic started to become a healthy rivalry. Because that's how I saw it.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, so like, we would have events. We actually had an office that we coincidentally shared. We had an office space, and you had an office space in the same building.
We were in the Buckhead. What was it called?
Regis?
Buckhead. No, it was Towers of Buckhead.
Buckhead Towers?
Like
Buckhead
healthy
Towers.
company? That's using the healthy company?
Yeah,
It was
Buckhead
connected
Towers.
to Lennox.
Yeah, Buckhead Towers. We were in a beautiful building connected to Lennox Mall, Buckhead Towers, very prestigious building.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, young African American men walking around with suits on.
Teenagers. Basically,
man.
I was
You was the youngest.
Well, yeah, I was young. I was 19 still. You were like 23 maybe?
Yeah.
I think I probably just turned 20 around that time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Around
obviously we all different ages,
Yeah.
but you know.
it was still a good look just for us and our culture.
Yeah.
I think people coming in, seeing us doing it, you know, dressing nice, talking about our lifestyle and what we want it to be, dreams, aspirations, goals, and not wanting to settle for mediocrity. You know, I think that was huge for our community to be able to see that. And they came in, we had a ton of events. A lot of people used to pull up. That was really dope, man. And like you said, we had that mutual offers across from each other. We ended up building a healthy rivalry. You know, you were good on stage, drop your bars, and I'm like, all right.
So that was the thing. Like it was almost like we would have an event where we bringing people in to have them do business with us. I would get in front of the room because that was like the thing we did, and I would just hit them with a bunch of knowledge, dropping bars. Everybody normally just like blown away, and by the time I finished speaking, people want to do whatever we selling. Then Jacoby would go after me. So Nerd to get in front of the room. This is before we even had our brands as they are now.
Yeah.
He'd get in front of the room after me, and he'll start going, and I'm like
crazy.
Yeah, it's like when you hear like your favorite artist on stage, and then they just bring out a guest, and that guest is somebody else you love, and it's just like, oh my, that's what it felt like.
It was good. Like coming after you was like, I always like, damn, he's saying some shit, but you know, proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? So I was really on my studying, like really like, yo, I need to increase my vocabulary, increase my lexicon, as you would say.
Yeah.
I would study more. I would be watching the right videos, watching the right people. So I knew when I get in front of these people, I only had one chance to make a first impression. So I'm like, yo, I got to give it my best. I got to get up there and really be impactful. So, you know, so people going to walk away and remember me and be like, man, you know, whoever that guy was, I remember he said X, Y, and Z, right? So it's not about what you say, it's about how you make people feel. Yeah. And that's what I was always concerned about, is how people felt when they seen me.
Man,
that's kind of crazy how we all got like different approaches to how we do things, but they're similar but different. And it all just works, right? Because one thing we all got in common is just being consistent on who we are and developing what our talents are. Like Shaq, very, he's good, man, analytical. He's good at, you know, being professional. He's the one. You're very good at studying. Like you're diabolical with it. Like, you look at everything. If you don't know it, you go research it. And sometimes I used to be thinking like how Shaq used to think I was crazy because I'm very wild and spontaneous and make things simple. Whenever time I hear you say stuff, you be like, and you study certain things, I'm like, this sounds crazy. Like you're studying this, and you make everything. It could be females, it can be business, it can be relationships. You study it and improve it. And I think that's like one of your superpowers for sure.
Nah, for sure. I think we all are very different in nature, but a lot of the principles are the same.
Yep.
You know, and that's the reason why we all can relate, and our relationship has been what it is, because we all understand each other's process and respect it.
Yeah.
It's like your strengths aren't necessarily my strengths, but I recognize the value in it, and I understand where you're coming from and why it works. It's like, dang, yeah, he really good at that.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, we all separated with what we were doing at the time. We were all working together, which gave us an opportunity to grow from each other and learn from each other. But now we're taking our talents and doing completely different things. But all of those things that we learn from each other and all of those abilities and all of those experiences are making what we're doing work.
Yeah.
Like us all being successful in our own lane is not a coincidence.
100%.
You know, and it's all based on those unique experiences. Like, talk about like from like MLM, because I know we talk a little bit about MLM when on Brandon's episode. Like, what do you think are some of the biggest takeaways that you got from just going through network marketing?
Oh man, I would say as a college for entrepreneurs, that would be how I would describe it. So my first introduction to MLM was my mentor. I was selling cars at the time, And he came into the dealership, and I still remember the interaction. As I was selling him a vehicle, we had a good rapport, and he was like, yeah, you know, you're a pretty good salesman. So we get down to the process of me filling out the application for him to buy the car. And on the part that it says, how much do you make monthly? He put $60,000 a month, right? So when I see the application and I get ready to take it to the sales manager, I look at it and I'm saying, he made a mistake and put $60,000 a month. He meant $60,000 a year, right? Mm-hmm. So I went back to him and I said, hey, sir.
That's hilarious.
Hey, sir, we wanted to know what you make monthly, not annually. He looked at me, he said, oh, that is what I make monthly. And I'm like, well, what do you do?
That's the easiest way to get it.
What do you do? And it said on his application, entrepreneur, but you got to think about it. Times are different. An entrepreneur wasn't as cool back then as it is now.
You said that earlier.
Yeah. When you heard the word entrepreneur, you thought brokepreneur. You thought in between jobs, right?
Right.
So I'm seeing an entrepreneur making $60,000 a month. I said, fuck selling this car. Let me sit down and talk to you.
Right.
So I was like, man, you know, what do you do? Like, how do I get to a point where I'm making $60,000 a month? So here's an interesting pro tip. The only other person that I had that made $60,000 a month that I sold a car to was a lady who delivered babies, but she delivered babies like she was like a special type of doctor where it was only like 10 in America or something like that. And she was making $60,000 a month. I always remembered her and I always remembered him. So so he's telling me, he's like, okay, let me ask you, Jacoby, who do you think makes the most money right now in this dealership? And I said, probably Javier, because Javier, we was in Gwinnett. Javier, you know, he's Spanish and he sells, that's his demographic. It's mainly Hispanic people in Gwinnett. And he was like, no, not Javier. I said, oh, the sales managers, because they make money off of everybody deal, right? He was like, nah, it's not the sales managers, it's somebody else. Who makes the most money in this dealership? I'm like, damn. He was like, the person who makes the most money in this dealership, you're not thinking about him because he's not thinking about you. It's the owner. He's making more money off of everybody. Why? Because he understands leverage. And see, you don't understand leverage. You understand how to be leveraged. See, right now, 100% of your income is based off 100% of your efforts. 100% of his income is based off 1% of 100 people. So until you learn how to have money working for you, you'll always be broke. Right now, you're working for money.
Facts.
That was the moment I was introduced to MLM
Dang.
and entrepreneurship.
That's good.
So from there, I was like, everything that you just said to me just exposed me to a whole nother world and a mindset that I had never been introduced to via school, via friends. So I said, whatever you got going on, bro, I'm with it.
Yeah.
And then that's how I got introduced to the MLM space. And he talked to me about leverage and introducing people to a product or a service. And he says, what do they naturally do if they have a good experience? They refer and they share.
Yeah.
Right.
So why not get compensated for referring somebody to a good product or service? So that's kind of like what it was for me, is really understanding that business model. And that was the easiest way for me to get into owning my own, controlling my own, and having my money work for me.
Man, you know, the products and the business that you were in network marketing at first was different than what we were on, you know, and you said something to me back then that I still think about, like, and it stuck with me. And it actually is part of the reason why I made a lot of lifestyle changes. And it was just something you subtly said, right? So we were in the office and I was listening to you pitch the products, right? And then you said, you was like, the American diet or the Western diet is nutritionally bankrupt. Those are the words you used. And at the time, I was on a hot wing.
I remember my favorite is hot wings. I remember that. That's
hot wings. Bro, I probably ate wings like at least 5-6 times a week, minimum. That's like,
Did you get the lemon pepper with the mild?
bro,
Or
lemon
is just
pepper
the straight
sprinkle.
mild?
No, buffalo lemon pepper sprinkle for
Buffalo.
sure.
Was it all flats?
I mean, I wasn't really super picky, but I preferred flats.
Okay.
I preferred flats, but I didn't always.
If you're
request
not getting
flats.
all flat, like if you're not getting all flats, I can't mess with you, man.
Yeah, I'm not eating none of that now.
Oh, now, okay,
But I'm
okay.
vegan 100%.
Oh,
but
okay.
I just want to throw it out there because, like, even from the beginning, it was like, dang, this dude, like, he thinking different. Like, he's smart. Like, our food doesn't have any nutrition. I'm like, at that time, it's hard to even comprehend what that mint.
Yeah.
It's like our food is nutritionally bankrupt. It's like I never even heard those two words put together in a sentence. And then when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that's deeper than rap.
Yeah.
That's super deep.
I'll give you this. Now you have a really good target. He knows his target audience. We were talking about earlier. He knew what to tell you because he knew how to get me. Because he actually got me to sign up.
Yeah,
we don't want to talk about how he got me. He took me on a little trip. Got some wine in my system.
I see Brandon. He always down at the bar drinking. I had my upline. I said, "We got one." He likes
we
liquor.
got the big dog.
Yeah, we got the big dog.
Oh God!
Nah, funny story. When I first met B, I see him online. I see him y'all in the condo doing y'all thing. And then here's the crazy story. I had never been in a condo before. Right? Never walked in anybody's condo. B was first condo. Actually, you know what? I manifested what I want was to live in a condo. So I went and rented a room at a nice hotel at the building. I went and rented a room, and I was on maybe 12th, 13th floor, and I was like just experiencing and manifesting like, yo, one day I'm gonna live like this. And I come down in the bar and I see B.
I remember that too. That's the crazy part.
And I see him at the bar, and I'm like, yo, this is wow. This is the dude I see on YouTube. Whoa. And that's an idea that proximity matters. Like being in a high prestigious zip code can change your life. So a lot of people that are in small towns and they're trying to figure out how to evolve or get to the next level, sometimes you just got to get around the right people. You know, you got to move. You got to pick up and get into a new environment. You know, sometimes the bills may be up to here, but that one relationship can change your whole situation.
Pay for it all.
That's a fact.
Pay for it all. So that's just me. At the time, I was living in the South Side, right? And then I just wanted to stay in this building, and I seen B. And then we end up having a good conversation. I walked up to him. Like, I could have easily walked past him, never talked to him, but I said, yo, no, this is my opportunity. Maybe it's a sign. Start talking to him. And as you say, he's a nice guy, real receptive.
Yeah.
So we started talking, bro, and it was cool, bro. We end up linking. And like you said, from there.
He got me. So this is, fast forward later. This is way later. I remember meeting him at the bar, but this is way later when he's really getting into the networking space. And I forgot how, but somehow he convinced me to check it out.
Yeah.
So we went far out past the mountains to this lady that was super rich.
I lied like it was only like 30 minutes away.
Yeah, he got me in the car and I was stuck at this point.
Yeah.
And
2 hours away.
And he had like a little pretty. He had this pretty teammate. I liked. So I was like, you know,
I'm willing to take a little trip.
I want to take a little trip.
I used to hate the fact that he was that easy. Man's like gullible.
But here's the worst part. You gonna really go. So we drinking wine. She showing me the place. She showing me the mountains, and then she gave me the whole experience. And she's, you want another cup? You want another cup? By this time I'm liquored up. You know,
That's that Jacoby's instruction.
Yeah.
Nerd told him what to do.
Next thing you know, I don't remember the point when I signed the forms, but all I know is when I woke up, I got back home, woke
Your
up,
car got charged.
Now, you know, our opportunity was $99. His opportunity was like $750. I know it was that charge. I was like, I ain't want to be the crazy person charge back, but that hurt. I don't care how much money I was making. I feel swindled.
My man bought a whole box of healthy stuff.
$10 a wine cost him $750.
He was an alcoholic. He did not care about his health. This man got finesse.
I'm like, man, you need this detox, my boy.
Yo, you need this detox.
Right.
Nah, man, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
That's good
so-
stuff. That's funny. That's funny. So, man, I remember the story too as it happened. So walk us through, like, you obviously transitioned out of network marketing, right? Like, I think that some people make a career of it, which I don't think is a bad thing. I never planned on being in network marketing, especially in my 30s. Like, that wasn't a part of it. Like, I was attempting to get involved, make a significant amount of money to do something else, right? You transition much sooner than I did or Brandon, and you were, doing business that I respected even while I was still doing it. Talk about the transition out of network marketing and just doing traditional business and some of the differences or even similarities that you notice.
Yeah, so I got introduced to the digital marketing space. So I was already in sales. And essentially in sales, I was a marketer not knowing that I was a marketer. I was marketing myself based off of how I look, how I talk, how I spoke, how I dressed. Right, I was building a brand, and I had really branding is a word that's really common now, but again, branding the word wasn't as common. So I was getting out, talking to people, and displaying myself. And I remember my mentor said, "Man, if you could start a business, the way that you talk to women, if you were to do this in business, you would make a lot of money, right? If you were to talk and stop people like this to make money with the way that you go holler at women, you'll be out of here." So I'm like, damn, and it always stuck with me. I'm like, okay. If I can just transition this skill into making money, then I don't have to do it for somebody else. I can do it for myself, right? So I remember I was at an event and I was speaking, and a girl that I was talking to brought a guy named CEO Matty J. We all know Matt. He brought him in, and as I'm talking, he's walking in. He's looking different. He's like dressed crazy at the time. He got all these big chains on and
gold
shoes,
chains.
gold chain. I got a suit on. I never seen somebody with the big shades on at the time. Again, all this stuff sounds real common now, but he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And he just like, I'm talking, he like bars.
I remember that day, bro. It was so funny.
I was in the room. That's the crazy part.
Look, it was because nobody, when we gave those pitches, like it was pitch meetings, basically. Like nobody was willing to interrupt us.
Yeah.
Like while we're in our flow, nobody in the audience is gonna say something while we're doing our thing. I think like we were doing the rivalry thing, same thing we normally do. And I'm talking, and this dude in the audience going bars, and he got on glasses and chains, and I'm just like, I'll never forget. I think he even had on like a Floyd Mayweather brand, TMT. Yeah, he had TMT. I remember
hat on.
Yeah, I remember it because I'm like, who is this dude? He might be important. Let me not get offended, right? So I'm doing my thing, and then you go, and he's still going. I'm just in the back of the room going.
I'm like, who is this? Who is this character?
Right.
So after the meeting, bro, he came to me. He was like, "Man, I like what you're doing in your arena, in your space. I have this company, this brand with another business partner, App God, right? And it's called Digital Brand.
Shout out to App God.
Shout out to App God. And I got a business with this guy named App God, and it's called Digital Brands. And what we do is we help people make money online, right? We help people take their brands to the next level. We don't have anybody that's as vocal and that can speak the way that you speak. Let's have a meeting. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do it. So from there, he showed me the plan, and I was like, damn, this is hard. How organized he was, how the whole schematic of what's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years, 5 years. And I started looking at the opportunity there, and I said, man, he's giving me an opportunity to come in as an owner versus me just being an IBO in an MLM company. So from there, I was like, I'm with it. And I just kind of earned my spot, earned my position, and end up being an equity partner in the company.
That's fire.
So, that's about showing up when the time is there. When opportunity meets preparation.
Facts.
Man,
I actually remember watching that too, watching him transition from that to, and he was always at Mary J's house and just getting into a whole different realm. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
It's a funny story. Like I mean, obviously I know y'all know because we were all there. We had a meeting at what's the name of the restaurant that's like Yard House. We had a meeting at Yard House, and we were all sitting there, and we were talking about doing the CEO brand. I think that's when you came with the CEO brand. If I could be mistaken,
we all changed our name.
Yeah, everybody changed their name on Instagram, but I was so locked in with what I was doing, and I was thinking like, this is all great, and I think what they're doing is going to take off. But if I do this and what I'm doing right now, I might mess up what I'm doing right now. So I kind of just doing what I do, which is not go with the flow, right? It's kind of the lesson that I said I learned from, was one of my biggest takeaways, because it would probably been way smarter to just go with the flow. But it's just funny seeing like how being involved, being in those rooms and seeing what those things turned into for the people who followed through with it. You were that person. I think out of everybody at that table who, really heard and was willing to put the time in, you the one who really was like, hey, I'm gonna stick to this. Yeah. And what it turned into, man, I was always impressed by.
Yeah, it was huge, man. Within 6 months, we made $1 million.
Dang, that's crazy.
CEO millionaires. It was all over the internet. Everybody had it on. And Matt was really good with influencer marketing. So he was teaching me a lot as far as like how to connect, how to communicate, and just how to how to be present, you know, for people to walk in and remember you. So that was really dope, man. It was like one of the first campaigns I was a part of. That in Dab and Santa, the Dab and Santa campaign was my real first introduction into like digital marketing.
That's fire.
Yeah, it is.
That's fire. I think you know, being able to watch everybody grow into the person that they became has been like one of the main ingredients that helped me become the entrepreneur that I am, because it's like, even while we were going through, you know, being, I guess, smallpreneurs, right? Small guys in the business space. And even, I mean, in comparison to the big businesses, we still are small guys, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But even then, I knew that we were the leaders of our community. Even back then, it's like the people in our community at that time didn't necessarily respect what we were doing. Like, people would know or have an idea like these guys are making money, but it wasn't one of those things where we were the coolest people to be around. Like, you know, we were still taking, you know, second place or third place to like athletes or, you know, maybe musicians that have some level of popularity. But I'm noticing a shift right now where even the athletes and musicians, they like, look, I want to be one of y'all. Like, how can I get involved with what you guys are doing? And I think it's like super cool to have witnessed the journey up close and personal of what I believe still, even now, because I don't think in comparison to where we're going that we're anywhere near
Potential.
Exactly. I don't believe that at all.
You actually make up a good point, right? The world is really changing. Like, okay, back in the day in our time, you know, if you were living like us, you have to either be a rapper, a scammer, or a musician or something, or
just somebody in the underworld, making
right?
money illegally.
Now it's like, if you are a YouTuber or a gamer or an entrepreneur, you're that guy. We know who's making the money now. It's a whole different world. It's like the gamers are superstars now. The streamers are superstars. It's like now entrepreneurship. A lot of people starting to embrace it. A lot of people starting to get inspired. I'm loving it, right? You know.
So I mean, obviously, I think you're one of the first people that I noticed, like up close, that I knew personally, that was taking things to a digital space, right? Like, give me an idea. How do you feel about brick and mortar businesses in comparison to just strictly being online? Like, do you have any ideas or an opinion on that?
Well, depending on what you're advertising or what your goal is, right? So, of course, I'm in a digital space, so I am, you know, biased towards the digital space. But the digital space for me is being able to get in front of thousands of people, you know, millions of people, organically without having a big marketing budget or having the relationships or having the resources, bar none, it's better online, right? You know, getting a brick and mortar business is going to be more of a bootstrapping thing, because you have to work with your local community. You have to maybe get out and do more grassroots marketing, where you're passing out flyers, going to vendor booths, or it's a lot of footwork, a lot of guerrilla marketing that comes with doing a brick and mortar. Online, I get to sit in the comfort of my home, right? Do some studying, do some research, type up something, and just post something. And who knows, with the right algorithm, the right content, you can get spread worldwide. Like, so I like to compare it to like ads, right? Let's say, imagine you driving on a highway and you see a billboard, right? Essentially, you see that billboard, you may have traffic of, say, 10,000 people ride past it. 10,000 people ride past it. Realistically, you don't really know how many people are riding past it. You don't know how you're converting. You don't know the target audience that's riding past. You don't know if it's 18 to 25, black, white, whatever it may be. You don't know a lot of those details. Online, you get to do this thing called KPIs, which stands for Key Performance Indicators. And if you don't know your numbers, you can't grow your numbers, period. Right? So when you're trying to start a business and really make money, you have to understand those metrics. You have to understand that data. So for me, that was what really interests me in the digital marketing space, is that I had access to so much information that I can look at on the back end of a platform, right? And I can see, all right, my same billboard that I put online, I can see how many people clicked it. I can see how many people converted.
Right.
I can see how many people clicked off based off of it's like a bounce rate, how long they spent looking at my banner.
Right.
So it was so much detail that was really like catching me as far as my interest level. Like, wow, this is really interesting. So with the brick and mortar, you don't have a lot of that data that you can get that you can online. So that's why I think a lot of people are transitioning online, hence COVID. Right. Once COVID hit, a lot of businesses transitioned online and learned the importance of data.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I have a lot of respect for people who built the brick and mortars definitely pre-internet. Man, I don't know if I have it in me to do it.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think
it's a different world.
Yeah, it's definitely a different world. And I think that you definitely have it in you.
I know. You know.
Yeah,
but
but
still want to do it. There's certain things you want to do. I want to like, eventually, brick and mortar, certain things I would do brick and mortar. I would have a meeting ground. So I would have a restaurant, a place that's like, I think that's a dope thing to say, hey, meet me in my restaurant.
True.
And then a nightclub, if you have a nightclub, that's something dope to say too. Hey, you can meet me in my nightclub. But I started showing a little interest in that, and I started seeing some of the inner workings of how a nightclub works. I don't know if I'm ready for that one just yet.
Oh yeah, bro.
Because I
got a little, a little experience, just a little bit.
Yeah, but it's just all you do. All you do got the experience in that. So it's something, brick and mortar wise, it's definitely dope to have, but online, just being a digital nomad,
right,
it's pretty cool too. Just being able to pull my laptop out. I say live that WFA lifestyle, which means work from anywhere. So I like that too.
No, that's dope. That's dope. Like I heard this quote from I think actually a friend of mine, I just called him Cavario, said this. He was telling me a story about, I think he was talking about Master P. He was saying Master P told him that he spends 80% of the budget that he had for a project on marketing and 20% on the product, just in case anybody buys into the marketing. And when I heard that, it was like, wow. Like being digital is so much leverage in that because, having a brick and mortar physical location, it creates the element where you have to have certain things on hand in order to make that whole business model work. Then you have the hard cost of facilitating the real estate wherever you're actually conducting business. And just based on inventory and the real estate cost, that can be so overwhelming for a new entrepreneur that can take you out of business automatically. But digitally, you have smaller overhead. If you have, to build your digital real estate, typically a website could potentially cost you a one-time fee, maybe, and just a small hosting fee month to month. So it's like the rent, because it's not a physical location, is a lot cheaper when it comes to overhead. Then when it comes to products, you don't necessarily, not saying you shouldn't, but not to give anybody advice, you don't have to have things on hand in order to facilitate your business, because the customer understands at the point of purchase that they're not going to have the product immediately. So just having that consumer understanding gives, I think, people a little leverage to start, even if they wanted to have a brick and mortar situation. That philosophy that Master P was saying, 80% into marketing, 20% into the actual thing, of just in case somebody buys. In my mind, I'm thinking, if I spend a lot of money on rent, or if I spend a lot of money on inventory, if I spend a lot of money on just existing, then you can blow past that 20% of money available fast in a traditional brick and mortar scenario. But in a digital scenario, realistically, those percentages could actually happen. And this is coming from somebody who, obviously in our culture is noted to be very, very successful. So, I think that a lot of people should take heed to what you're doing, simply because I believe that realistically, a new person, their best shot at starting off in a way that doesn't cost them, arm and a leg. So even whatever lessons they can learn it without getting killed. And they can pivot and learn those lessons.
That's the key word that you said, pivot. And that's why when I talked about like running ads and billboards and stuff like that, when you have a billboard, you're stuck on a highway. You're stuck 90 days, 6 months. If I have an ad online, I can cut it off when I want to. It's essentially as a billboard, so I can get in front of 10,000 people. If I see it's not performing, I cut that billboard off and I can upload another billboard. And that's the best part about being online, being digital, is how fast you can maneuver, how fast you can change, right? Even just something as simple as posting on your Instagram. If you notice you spelled something wrong, you can just edit it. It's like, you know, so if you get a sign and it's wrong in your store, you got to send it back. You got to wait. Now you can't even open a store for another 30 days. But, you know, so I say eventually you want to have both.
Yeah.
You know, but starting out, man, if you want to get into business, we're in a special time right now. Bill Gates said, if you don't have a business online, you don't have a business. So we're in a time where, unlike our parents, they need to, at minimum, you know, have 30,000, 40,000 to start a business, and now you can start a business with less than $500.
Man,
start a whole ebook on something that you know.
Yeah,
and sell it
and go from there. And it's just
crazy.
about being consistent, man. Dropping.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. That's good. I think that more people knew that, they probably wouldn't be as afraid or think that they weren't qualified, because the barriers of entry isn't that significant. Right? I think that a lot of people don't really know because they don't think they're qualified.
Yeah.
Like what would you say to a person who is looking to do more than what they're currently doing and potentially want to get into the digital retail space or e-commerce? What would you tell that person who may not know what it takes in order to get started?
First thing I would say, don't focus on the money. You know, just focus on getting better. Focus on getting better, because attraction is way better than attacking. I like to attract whatever I have. I just focus on attracting anything, right? Just getting better, personal development, self-development. So if you're trying to start a business online, you're trying to sell products online, study, right? Post, focus on just getting the action going, getting the awareness, just getting going, because people are watching you, people are seeing you, right? And the first thing that when you're starting, trying to build a brand or build a business or just transitioning from doing what you do on an everyday basis, people are waiting on you to stop.
Mm-hmm. Right, true.
They're already, okay, cool. You know, and then especially if you have the history or the reputation of always starting and stopping.
Right.
So people don't believe in you. But I would say, as you're building, get the revenue idea out of your mind, right? Don't even focus on the revenue, just focus on the actions of doing something 1% better every day. And then while you're doing that, getting 1% better, is don't have a shiny object syndrome mentality.
What's that?
So a shiny object syndrome mentality is wanting to do everything, right? We're on social media. A lot of things look good, right? Everybody's trying to sell your product. You got Turo, you got Airbnb, you got every opportunity down your timeline. And if you're a person that's all over the place, nobody wants to go to a swap meet, right? Nobody wants to go to, everybody wants to go to a specialist, not a generalist.
Yeah.
That's the focus. So once you narrow down on one specific offer, just focus on getting 1% better. And then eventually, like I said, the money will come, you know? So if you're just studying your craft, you're just going to get new information as you go.
That kind of like gave me some really good advice from Matty J, because I used to be at the point where I had money, I had network, and I was just doing different things, right? Mm-hmm. And Matty was like, man, you're very talented, man. I love your drive, but you should just take the one thing that you really believe in and just see where that take you, right? Mm-hmm. And when I created that, and I just said, you know what? There were so many different new opportunities, new shiny ball things, new great opportunities. And I literally just stuck to my guns through years versus months, even if it was a struggle and didn't work out. And eventually, I saw everyone who tried those things go through 20 different new opportunities. I stuck with that, and now people started looking at me. So sometimes, you know, you just got to stick to your guns, even if it's not working and it looks good. When you see other people doing it and they're talking that good stuff, stick to what you got to do, because it definitely helped me a lot.
No, that's a fact. I was so happy. Like, when I noticed that you were being consistent in one thing, I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I don't know. Yeah. Matty J came through and saved the day. Hey, Matty J getting a lot of love on this episode, man.
Dang, man.
Man.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is. So, man, y'all having y'all both here is very
nostalgic.
Yeah, it has a nostalgia to it because I remember us having conversations in the parking lot at the office that you were talking about. Like we were talking about moving to this building.
Yeah.
Like, yo, y'all want a roommate? Remember that? We were having the conversations like, yo, we could roommate and we could move to this building. And all three of us was really like head in the clouds, like, but we could get there.
Yeah.
We could, like, we thinking about a place that's out of reach by a lot of other people's standards, but we could do it. Like if we all tried to do it together, we could definitely get it done.
And we believe we can do it. That's the big key.
Exactly, especially with each other. It was a situation where it was just like, I know if you involved, the probability of it working is higher. I know if he involved, the probability of it working is higher. I know if I'm involved, what I'm on. Yeah. So it's like we were able to leverage each other's confidence in a way to make each of us more confident as individuals. You know, and I don't think that a lot of people get to hear that or see that because, you know, when they go to your Instagram, it's just you. When they go over to Brandon's Instagram, it's just him. But there was always a collective between all of us. And it's not just limited to us as disabled. Yeah, right. It's a lot of people who are part of this collective that I'm talking about. And it's an unspoken thing. Yeah. Like we really don't
power push power, man.
Yeah.
Push power to power. That's actually a rule that I have, right? Like that's a fact. Like pushing power to power. It's like this person is strong, independent. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure he's even stronger. And I think a lot of people get that twisted. They think, oh, this person's strong and I'm not as strong. So they should be willing to help me become stronger. And that makes them weaker in essence by what you're actually saying. But push power to power, like I think I don't even know when the first time I heard that, but I think I heard it in a religious sense. And it's funny you said it because that's what I used to do with Brandon. Because Brandon used to have this thing where he would come up with ideas and I would think to myself, like, you know what? I don't fully understand everything you're talking about. I'm from the South Side. You said you lived on the South Side. I'm from the South Side, right? Like, I'm from the South Side. We don't talk about this type of stuff. But you know what? I'm going to have all the homies. I'm going to have everybody backing what you talking about. Look, my boy Brandon told me X, Y, and Z. I wasn't trying to ask him for nothing. I wasn't trying to, make it so I'm a burden on him because he's further along than I am. And all I was trying to do was, if you making $1,000 a month now, wait till I get you to 5. Oh, my boy at 5? Oh, I ain't seen nothing yet. He about to be at 8. It's my duty to make him stronger. And every time he becomes stronger, I do as well. And see, a lot of people mix that up and they don't understand that. I think that was one of our superpowers because when, they like, oh, he had 30 or he had this amount, you only had this amount. It's like, only? I started from the sticks. You hear me? He the one who had the camera and the idea. I'm just here playing support. Call me what you want, but don't call me broke. You hear me?
When everybody in your clique is rich, your clique is rugged. Nobody will fall because if they do, will be each other's crutches. That's what Jay-Z said. So I always love that line, man, of just having my people around me because I want to be in a position where, if anybody was to fall off, well, we can all pitch in, boom, 20,000, 25,000, let's get them back right because we know it's just something happened.
Right.
Something happened, but we know his work ethic.
Right.
And we're in a position where we make a pact, let's make sure we get them back right and everybody be in that position. And I always loved that line. Ever since I was a young kid, I was like, that's the type of friend group that I want, right? My people are all up because if somebody fall, it's cool. We're going to be each other crutches.
Man, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's the security right there. Just knowing that your work ethic and your friendship and genuine friendship, that as long as you're doing what you got to do and your friends recognize that and everyone's working, it's like, I'm not afraid of no opportunity because at the end of the day, man, we're going to always look out for each other. We're going to make sure that we got each other's backs. And it doesn't have to be monetarily. It can be opportunity. Yes. It can be resources. It can be networking with someone. It can be just motivation.
Yeah, just what you just did, right? So you just sent and that's all it's about, relationships, because sometimes, a lot of times, we're not even one person away. We're half a person away.
Yeah.
Right? So I just showed you something that I did. You instantly thought about who did you know that knows this person that you can connect something with, right? So that's how it's supposed to be. It's like, okay, cool, my mans do this. Let me try to put you on in this position here, put you on in this position there.
Right.
Like you said, it doesn't have to be monetary, it's just opportunity. And a lot of times people are like, oh, you don't give me money. No, bro, pay attention. And that's what I've always, well, back and forth. Like we've always paid attention. But when somebody doing something, it's like, all right, you may not be directly saying something, but I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's big. That's big. You know, because I think a lot of people they don't understand that intrinsic value, that value that can't be counted. You know, like it's like I'm sitting right here and you got something going. It's like, oh, I know what I could do to make this, make this better, or I can enhance you in this way. And I'm not thinking about myself. I'm not thinking about what I can get. All I know is if I make you more powerful just through proximity, it's only going to make all of us stronger because it's like, oh, this the guy who did it. That's the guy who did that. It's like, wow, the guy who did that is standing right next to you. It's like, yeah, that's how we could. And whenever you can say that about, when you could be as braggadocious about the people around you and they feel the same exact way about you, it becomes this unstoppable movement. It's like nobody can really truly fall all the way off if they remain consistent and if they keep up the character and the brand that they establish. Because working hard is about character. It's like me and Brandon was actually talking about this before. It's like if I'm in the same proximity as you, me and you sitting here together, and you see me going hard, and we're working on a project together, you have to be a low character individual to sit here and be lazy in my face.
And in fact, we've seen that happen. We've seen where they are now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he going hard. Oh man, this dude going too hard. I can't let him embarrass me.
Yeah.
You know, like I used to do music back in the day. I know a lot of people don't know that. Like I was an artist. You hit me.
Yeah, I remember.
I was rapping, bruh.
I remember you telling me.
Yeah. Me telling you, heard me rap before.
Yeah, I heard you rap.
You can't sit here. Don't cap me down, Brandon.
Are you retired though? Are you coming back out? Can we expect the track?
Man, look, I might bless the podcast one day with some freestyles. You know, I know the App God. Shout out to App God. He helping us put all this stuff together. The App God be spitting on his Instagram, and I just be looking. I'll just be like, yeah, I can do that too. I can do that too.
Oh, they pulled that one out.
But I'm gonna let you kill it because the way you got the edits going and the way you transit, I'm like, look, I'm not about to go full production mode. But yeah, nah, for sure. That was my introduction into entrepreneurship. You know, ironically enough, I met Brandon because I was doing business in the music industry. I added Brandon on Facebook because I had an artist that I was working with, and he did videos. I added him as a friend on Facebook, and I never contacted him because me and the artist actually fell out, right? And that's one of the main reasons why I decided I didn't want to be involved in the music business, because I realized it's so contingent upon people. Like a single person can make or break your business if you were running it the way I was running it. Yeah, it's like, wait, you got personal issues in your life? Now my business is ruined? This is terrible. So I decided, you know what, maybe this business model isn't for me, but I still added him as a friend. And then he started posting things about network marketing, and I was just like, you found the right one today. And when I called him, bro, I didn't even have the money to join. Like, I think it was like $100, $150 to join whatever he was doing.
Oh yeah, cell phone thing.
Yeah. So it was like $150 to join, and I didn't have the money. So I ended up telling him like how it worked. I got all the information. I said, all right, bet. Say no more. I'm going to call you back. And I know for a fact, I know his personality well enough to know he never assumed I was ever going to call him back. He was thinking, okay, goodbye, right? And I knew, I'm like, yeah, I'm broke. I'm not broken-minded. I'm not broke-minded. So, you know, I ended up calling him back. Obviously, I got started. You know, we ain't really make too much money. I made my money back.
What lick did you hit to get the money, Shaq?
Man,
you was on the sell. What you was on the sales? Like what lick?
Man, I was selling burritos, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was at Chipotle with it.
Weren't you like the best burrito roller or something?
Man, this man, now he getting disrespectful, right?
No, I really remember you saying something like that.
No, bro, I was not.
Maybe I had that joke in my head and just
you just bro, you used to say that in front of rooms like, this man used to serve y'all rice and beans. Now he up, right? He got that guacamole, right? But serious. On a serious tip, like I remember, we was working the business, right? This was the cell phone company. company. We made no money. I think the most I made from this company was like $400 total, right? I called them and I was telling them like, yo, bro, I'm about to quit my job. This man was telling me,
No.
I said, bro, I'm about to quit my job. And he'd say no. And we was on the phone for probably like 4 or 5 minutes of me trying to tell him I'm trying to quit my job. And he would say no every time I say 4 or 5 minutes of this. And I'm like, bro, I'm about to quit my job. No. Bro, no. And this went on. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to hang up on this man. I'm trying to change my ways. I'm from the South Side. You gonna listen to what I gotta say. But I ended up quitting my job because I had $5,000 saved. I actually got $5,000 from my college. It was my refund check. And this is like something that I think people can get value out of, because that $5,000 set me free. And this is why. I was making $1,000 a month from Chipotle. My whole lifestyle was based on my Chipotle income, right? Obviously, that's not enough money to survive on today, and it really wasn't then either. But and I told Brent, he was like, "How you gonna live?" I said, "Bro, my rent like $300." He was like, "Idiot."
I was like, the heck you live at?
Damn.
I had roommates. We had a 3-bedroom. I was like, doing a roommate game, right? I made $1,000 total a month. Like, it had to be something low. But anyway, so I got $5,000 as a refund check from my college. I ended up dropping out after they gave the refund check. And then I was like, I'm quitting my job. I'm going full force with just learning how to do what I need to do. I got 5 months to figure it out, because I'm only going to spend money like it's coming from my job, right? So I'm trying to tell him I'm trying to quit. He talking crazy. He telling me not to do it, but he don't know I'm not an idiot, bro. I got money. I didn't want to tell him I got thousands of dollars saved. Like, that ain't his business. Like, I don't know him like that. Yeah. But that 5 months actually changed my life, man. And I think that this is something that a lot of people like need to hear, because I think sometimes people feel like, oh, I'm gonna be brave and just jump out on a limb. It's like, I ain't jump out on no limbs. I made a calculated move, and I was hoping for the best, right? So in that 5 months, we ended up joining another situation, which was the company you knew us for. Like, I established well over $1,000 a month with that company, right? Thank God. We ended up being roommates before the 5 months was even up. And
this when I was watching y'all talking shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
your job is a pyramid. You talking about a pyramid, your boss, when you gotta go to your boss. I was like, you right.
They say the only person who can make money is the guy at the top. well, isn't it the same thing at your job? I'm like, well, you should probably try to get to the top.
Damn.
Like, what do we got to do to get you to the top? What are you gonna do to get to the top in what you're doing right now? Is the top even available? Because if the top is not available, what you're doing, then don't tell me about who making money at the top. If I was qualified to make money at the top, being from the South Side, being from the hood, then you should be able to at least, even if you get to the middle, it's an upgrade from where you at probably right now.
I'm at home on YouTube like, these ninjas spitting.
It's like we was going in.
They spitting.
Yeah, so I mean, we was able to change our own lives and impact a lot of lives and develop relationships. Yeah. And I think that, if people stop thinking about what they're going to get out of a situation and start focusing on trying to like better themselves, then they'll understand like these relationships, the money obviously was cool too, but man, I don't have any of that money that we made back then.
The resources, the network, who we became is far more important than the money, and anyone can do that.
Yeah. The money gone.
The money, actually, if anything, the money, mine was in the worst situation we didn't get the other three first.
Say that again.
The money we made.
Yeah.
If we didn't get the resources, the network, and becoming better, that money we made would have put us in a worse situation than we were.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Absolutely.
You have a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, $30,000 a month. Just think what you be doing 23 years old, 19 years old with 20 to 30,000. One, trying to survive, trying to invest and getting scammed, and also living that dream lifestyle that most people say, I would never do if I got that kind of money.
I gotta give us credit, bro.
I mean, we weren't that bad.
Bro, we were
worse than me.
So we were making bad investments.
A lot.
That was our thing. We didn't blow money on girls.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't blow money on you was drink. You had a drinking problem. We didn't blow money on pretty much anything other than investments.
Yeah.
That's how it typically happens, man.
Yeah.
Well, your investments, poor investment habits or poor lifestyle habits. We just chose the investment route.
Yeah.
But it can go.
But we was learning from the bad investments.
Oh yeah, true.
I want to ask you this, man. Like, if you could go back in time, I asked this question earlier, and I think it'll be entertaining to hear what you say or insightful. If you can go back and have a conversation with the 18-year-old version of yourself, what advice would you give?
Man, first advice I would give is get off of these hoes, my boy. Because I promise you, I would just tell myself that is just focus on yourself. Focus on yourself and being the best version of yourself when it's as far as working out physically, mentally, spiritually, just learning yourself more versus chasing every day, waking up from the crack of dawn is women. And I feel like I would be so much further along in life, right? Not saying that I regret anything, but I would be so much further along. And I'll be having my way even more if I was just at the peak of what I could be, right? The most ultimate version, right? When you get on 2K and you put all your stats up, like I at least be at a good overall rating, 96, 97 right now, right?
Yeah.
So I would tell myself, man, is that they're always gonna be there. The club's always gonna be there. The nice cars gonna always be there, right? The girls are gonna always be there. The things that you think that you have to have right now, just focus on the longevity. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Man, that's what would you say to the people who hear that and just think that sounds so cliche, bro? Like it's kind of one of those things that our parents might tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, don't worry about the girls, they gonna be there. And it's just like, well, I kinda wanna, do my
Get
thing.
my rocks off right
yeah,
now.
it's like, come on, bro. Like, bruh.
So
Well, why not worry about the girls? Why the club can wait? Give me talk to me. Like,
so for me, it was like, again, it's about focus. Whatever you focus on, man. So my focus was just off. So I felt like if I would have focused more on just learning more high income producing skills, I would be at a better position, like earlier. That's really what it was. It's just like everything that I was doing was producing more of a negative return than a positive return. So let's say, okay, cool. It's cliche sayings out there, but network is your net worth. That's a cliche saying, but it remains true.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one of those things I can't really sum it up no better than what I just explained.
Yeah. I realized when I said cliche statement, like I understand what you're saying totally, but I understand like we're living in a society where the things that are most important are uncool. It's uncool to say wait. It's uncool to say don't do drugs, or it's uncool to say certain things that if you really think about it, those things are what's best for you. Yeah. But it's not the cool popping thing to do. It's cool to do things that's not in your best interest. And one of the things I heard, and I think that it impacted me when I was at an impressionable phase in my life, where I was prioritizing women and I was prioritizing, things that weren't necessarily in my overall best interest, right? At the time, I thought that those are the things that I should be concerned with, but this is what helped me personally, right? I was actually having a conversation, and one of my big homies, he was telling me, he was like, women? Bro, we don't focus on women. And I'm just thinking like, what? He was like, and I was saying this earlier. He was like, women are like water out the faucet. Have you ever went out of your way or got super desperate or concerned yourself with getting water out of the faucet? And I was thinking like, no. He was like, you know why? Because if you want it, it's readily available for you. Right? So if you're doing what you're supposed to do as a man and you focused on yourself and you're really, really like got your priorities straight, women will be like water out of the faucet. And once I understood that, Then it changed my perspective. It went from women will always be there. It's like, yeah, if they're always going to be here, then why not take advantage now? But when you shift it and you hear that, you know, if you're handling your business like a man, then they're available basically on demand.
And you get more quality women overall.
Yeah, exactly, because you're a more quality person yourself. You're a more quality man. You know, women are attracted to people who they feel can lead them. And if you can lead yourself, then that means that they feel like you're more qualified to lead them. And because a lot of people suffer from not necessarily leading themselves as men, you become an exceptional man.
Yep.
Right? And once you get to the point of having that status of exceptional, then women do become
Like you become their focus.
Right, exactly. It shifts. You don't have to focus so much on them because now they're looking for you. And I think if more young men understood that they don't necessarily have to give their all in the pursuit of women, but give their all in the pursuit of themselves, they won't lack anything. And I think that a lot of the times us as young men, we feel or we focus on the lack of what we're not getting, which could be women, it could be money, it could be certain things, but it's not up to us to focus on other people. It's up to us to focus on ourselves.
And you can be at the wrong time. The you now could be with the right woman or the wrong woman, and you choose the wrong one. Let's say you do get the right woman. The man that's focusing on women ain't gonna be qualified for the perfect woman for him until he start focusing on himself first.
That's a bar.
Ooh,
That's
boy.
a bar.
This man going in.
Nah, that's a serious bar.
Elaborate. What do you mean by that though?
So when you're focusing on women, women are attracted not to looks, but to men that can become providers, who are, like Jacoby said, being physically fit. When you're focused on women, you're not focused on yourself. You're not focused on self-improvement. You're not becoming your best self. You're not becoming that 1% man. And men are always complaining about how women are attracted to 1% men all the time, blah, 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 right? But we always tell women to accept reality. So if we know in reality women are only attracted to 1% man, why don't we become that man versus complaining about how they only want those type of men?
Y'all boys in here preaching today. This is different. Right. So let's talk about that for a second. Like operating at a high level, you know, making more weight, like double, triple, quadruple, 100 times the average income, because, you know, people are doing it at this table, right? Like, how is navigating relationships at this level from each of y'all perspective?
Navigating relationships. I'll touch on navigating relationships. So coming from being in a relationship, I was focused on my partner also being a business partner too, right? So as an entrepreneur, I would give her a task and I would give her things to do to build our empire, to build our growth. Financially and just lifestyle, and you want these experiences, you better do something for it too, right? You got to put in some work. So what I learned in that time frame is that value is not all necessarily in money producing activities, right? So in this relationship, I learned a lot of things that I was lacking that I needed, which was organization, you know, following up better. Emotional intelligence. These were things that I learned that I didn't know that I needed until I had that feminine partner with me on a daily basis, seeing me going through my ups and downs and trials and tribulations with clients. And that was super important for me, having somebody in the house that I can work with closely and can handle those things, my weaknesses. So it's called like a SWOT analysis. I made sure I had somebody who my weaknesses were their strengths, right? So that was big for me. And then as a single man, it's back to, okay, how do I have a time of dividing, living my life, right? Still enjoying those experiences and still focusing on myself, right? Because I just gave a whole preach. We both preaching about how important it is to focus on yourself, but then we still entertain women. We still go out on dates. And I said, how do I balance the two? the way that I balance the two is that I'm looking for a woman with insight. I look for a woman that I can have dialogue with. I look for a woman that I can have banter with, that I can take these thoughts, these moments, and then now produce it and turn it into content. Right. Because content is currency now. So that's how I kind of navigate my dating, my life now, is that when I have an experience with a woman, is seeing what can I extract from that and how can I produce it out into the world to help somebody either learn something or gain some type of knowledge from my experiences. So that's how I kind of look at my relationships now. And I was talking to a girl the other day, and I was like, damn, I almost feel sorry for women that only date entrepreneurs. And this was my thought, and I said, because as an entrepreneur, is all we talk about is the next move. I said, imagine a guy that just has a traditional 9-to-5 or regular job. When he gets off work, the last thing he want to talk about is work.
Yeah.
Right. The last thing he want to talk about is the next move. He just want to enjoy. He want to have a movie, watch his Netflix and stuff like that. So when I was aware of that, I decided to not think about work as much, right? And not always be concerned about the next move and how can I make more money. So that's some of the things that I've learned when navigating these relationships, because I notice women don't like to talk about money. They just want to experience shit. They don't really want to talk about, how much money you got to make. And we got to, as men, as entrepreneurs, as go-getters, it's something I think most entrepreneurs should work on.
Nice. That's good. That's good. What about you, dog?
My experience is a little different. Because I was so single for so long, right? And I really just never seen myself as like that relationship type of guy. And like I said, at that point in my life too, I was the focus for a lot of women because of, who I became and, the notoriety I got. But as I was watching a lot of different podcasts, I've seen the most successful people in the room always had a female. Mm-hmm. They always had that female. And then the female didn't bring any business attributes. What they brought was that feminine energy and purpose towards his life. Mm-hmm. So, and I've learned from like just watching my friends too, like when you was in a relationship, like you say, so I learned from people like, I don't want my girl to be, her value is not in business for me. Mm-hmm. That's my passion. That's why I like enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I put that to be my thing. Like for us as entrepreneurs, that's our caveman thing. Mm-hmm. Like this is my thing. Mm-hmm. What I want you to bring to the table is, feminine energy. Mm-hmm. I want you to actually like me. Like you said, just enjoying conversating. Mm-hmm. And then you've been my purpose for me wanting to even go harder in my space. Like let me show you, let me go harder so I can provide more because you're bringing what I want to the table also. Mm-hmm. So my choice is like, don't do what works for you. Don't even when you make it, you can fall in that rabbit hole of just allowing women to chase you and entertain every single woman. So you go from chasing women to women chasing you, and now you're trying to make it for all the times women rejected you, right? And so that can go from months to years to where you made it, but you're at a standpoint where you could have been making $300,000 a year, but you became making $300,000 a month, but you let those women that are now attracted you for the wrong reasons, most likely, stop you at $300,000 a month. So you still should get the right woman and you want to approach it the right way, but don't look what everyone's reason is different. Whatever you look for in a woman, make sure that purpose is, you stick to that purpose and you don't make it like a part of your business unless you're into that kind of stuff and you're into that kind of stuff. But whatever works for you, make sure that you stick to that, because females can change your life and it doesn't have to be in a financial point of view.
Nah, that's good.
What about you, man? Yeah. What about you?
Man, I mean, I think that I try to pick up things every day. I have developed different philosophies, but I understand that relationships are supposed to be personal on that level first. Right? Like one of the biggest mistakes that I've made when it comes to relationship is I was doing what you were doing, which was making my relationship a part of my business, because I never separated my business and my personal life. Like it's just who I am. I wake up, I'm thinking about this person, that person. Like when I have a conversation with you, it's business, but it's personal too.
Yeah.
It's 100% personal and it's 100% business at the same time. When I'm talking to you, same thing. Yeah. It's like you my friend, but don't get it twisted. I'm not about to carry you like how I used to carry my homies I ain't had no business with.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like we're past that level. And one of the mistakes that I was making in my relationship was, and it's not even just one, relationships was I would have so much of a business relationship with my partner that it took away a lot of the personal element, right? So it's like I don't even see you 100% of the time like my spouse. It's like, hey, did you do your job? And it started bleeding into how I feel about you personally. It's like, hold up now. You know, like one of the things I said earlier is like, you know, it's not in good character for me to work a business me and you working on and you be lazy. Yeah. You know, like that's a real life business principle. Yeah. But when you try to apply that same way of thinking into your relationship, it's like a woman love lounge and leisure. Yeah. That's part of the perks of being with a guy that's doing well. Yeah. Right? And to hold that standard and that way of that desire against each other is conflict, 100%. You know, so I just started learning like, you know, I gotta allow my partner to be soft. I gotta allow my I gotta be softer.
Energy is powerful.
Yeah, I gotta allow them to be, you know, feminine and you know, allow my masculinity to protect them and not use it against them, right? Now, as far as women being attracted, like, I mean, man, I used to have this thing where I was happy that I was invisible at a certain point. Like I would, like me and Brandon could attest to this, right? Like we were, like you said, you studied us. So you saw me, you knew who I was. You see him, you knew exactly who he was. And it's like, oh, that a guy go. Me and Brandon used to have situations where people would walk up to him and say things like, hey man, I watch all your videos, bro. And they would talk about the videos and he'd be like, oh yeah, here goes Shaquille right here. And they go, who's that? And I'm sitting there thinking, bro, I'm in every video.
I was so confused.
What the hell is going on? You know, so I'm telling that story because like at a certain point of me winning and having success, and we all had this conversation, you know, at separate times, especially me and you, like we in the office, you would talk to me. I wouldn't do things like invest in clothes or invest in like, but it's not because I couldn't. Not because I wasn't having. It's not because of any of those reasons people assume. I took pride in being able to have interactions with people and then allow them to size me up and either neglect to acknowledge me for who I actually am or, you know, and not have a clue that I'm actually where I was at. And then I switched it, you know, because, you know, people like you was like, yo, bro, yeah, but no, you gotta put that shit on, right? So I switched it, and man, listen, the second I started popping out, bruh, it was like that water faucet I was talking about.
Faucet just turned on.
It's like, bro, hey, big head, what you doing? It's like, oh my God. So I just learned like, because I've been the way I've been for so long, and because I've been in this position for so long, it showed me something about people that I don't think most people get to experience, right? I was having, you know, a lot of resources, right? More resources than the average person. And people would not care. People do not care about how successful you are. People don't care about you winning. And I'm referring to women when I say this, and I'm talking to men, right? Women don't care about how you think. Women don't care about, you know, all of the stuff that if you ask them what you want in the man, they'll give you this list. Like, I want him to be this type of person. I want him to be generous. I want him to be smart. I want him to be all of these things. And I hear this stuff all the time. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm very intelligent. I could be very generous. I could be very, all of those things that's on your list. But if I'm in a room with my homies, I remember I made a video. We were all out. I had a smartwatch on. Right, obviously I ain't got a smartwatch on right now, and I think I was like, "Yo, this is like $250,000 worth of watch, $250,000 and $300 worth of watches." My watch the $300, right? I made that. That was a story. I actually posted on my Instagram, and you know, I got a couple ha-has, and you know, but if I'm in a room with my boys, and we've been in several rooms, and this has been my experience, and you guys doing what y'all do, I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm lit too, just as lit.
Yeah.
And my intelligence didn't go up because I got on this Gucci jacket.
No, not at all.
And because I got on this Cartier.
Not at all.
Shout out my boy Wafi. Nothing changed when it came to anything about me other than the fact that I took some of those resources that I had even then and just applied it to those things. And now automatically it went from, oh yeah, Shaq be doing his thing to, oh, I see you doing your thing. And that just taught me a lot of stuff that I need to know. Like you can't really value relationships that's based on things that aren't real. This stuff, this jacket is really nice. I like it. I like putting it on.
It's hard.
Yeah, bro. I like putting that shit on now, right? But at that time, I just learned the lesson. It's like, man, if people knew how shallow and how valueless it is to get to the point,
For sure.
It's like a never-ending cycle of nothingness.
I think what caught my attention is when you told me when you went to, I think it was Greece, when you were overseas, and how all of this stuff right here, none of that even matters over there. You get over there, you damn near probably looking like what are you doing with all this jewelry on? What are all this ice on? I think he was telling me a little bit about that.
I was referring to Amsterdam specifically.
Okay.
I was in Amsterdam, and in Amsterdam I was doing a lot of walking because it's like a big bike culture in Amsterdam. And I was walking, and I'm out of the country. I'm feeling good. I got my drip on. I got my jewelry. I'm wearing designer, and bro,
they did not like that. Huh?
I mean, not even necessarily not like it. Nobody particularly cared. It's like nobody was like, look, but nobody cared, bro. They was living their regular life. Like people over there was okay with being wherever they was at. Nobody was being shamed because they rode a bike. Everybody was riding bikes. Nobody was shamed for jumping on a trolley because that's how people got from point A to point B. The lifestyle, the mindset is totally different. And I realized traveling teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
You get a lot of insight because you could compare what you learn abroad to what most people focus on here and recognize the world don't operate this way. It's just a select niche. And I think that, I think everybody should experience traveling. Especially for long periods of time, not just I went to this place for 3 days for a weekend to get drunk with my friends, but I was in Europe for several weeks, right? And I was country hopping, multiple countries. I went to 4 different countries. And even with seeing how, the women interact and just all of that stuff, bro, it's so different. It's so different. It taught me a lot about myself too. Because it's like, dang, I could wear a black tee. I could have I packed my bag full of all the splat for no reason. I could have just wore t-shirts.
T-shirt and some cargo shorts.
Yeah, and let me tell you something that was really cool about my Greece experience. So I have this jacket. So they have something over there. I think it's called this all-seeing eye or the single eye. It's it's an emblem that we always see, but nobody really knows what it is. It's like a blue eye and it's like white around it. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but I'll show you in a second. But that's based in Greece. It was because they had volcanoes and it used to be a full island, but now it's different because the volcanoes erupted. And I bought this jacket over there. The jacket only cost maybe $300, 300 euros, whatever that means in USD. But I value that more than I value this. And this jacket probably is 10 times as much.
Oh man, let me take it off your hands.
Hey man, hey man, I'm cool. But I say that to say it's because I know for a fact that anybody can have this jacket. In order to get that jacket I got from Greece, it's only one way to get it.
Yeah.
Obviously you can get it online, but it was hand painted. It was a local artist. I bought it in a local shop, and that I know ain't nobody gonna have that over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, those experiences, everything. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all both, man.
Appreciate being on.
Yeah, man. Cool nerd, man. Coolest nerd ever. Man, shout out your social so people know how to find you.
Yeah, man. You can find me on all platforms. Coolest nerd ever. That's with a K. It's only right I spell it that way. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Some people tell me I have multiple personalities. So you go to TikTok, you may see one form of content. YouTube, I got another form of content. The Instagram, I got another form of content on all those platforms, man. And I'm just focused on helping people build their business, their brands, and their bank accounts, man. Helping people level up in life. Tap in with me, man. It's the coolest.
It's the coolest, man. And we got Brandon, CEO Brandon over here as well. And this is another episode. I'm Shaqq The Shark. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If this is the first time you tuned into the podcast, share this with anybody whom you think will get significant value. If you got any value, let us know so we know how to continue to tap in. And yeah, that's a wrap. That's the episode, and we out.
We out of here.